All right, thank you everybody for being seated, and welcome to natHACKS 2023. I'm Carolina Ballant, I'm the Director of Events at NeurAlbertaTech, and I'm thrilled to be your co-host for this evening. In today's program, we'll be covering an overview of natHACKS, hearing opening remarks from some of our wonderful partners, followed by our keynote speaker, Stephanie Enders, and finally ending with some general tips and tricks for hackathon success. We've got a lot in store for the next hour, so let's dive right in. Please welcome to the stage NeurAlbertaTech CEO, Executive Director, and my co-host this evening, Eden Redman.
Thank you, Carolina. Good evening, all. I'm Eden. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on NAT. So over the last several years, and one more. Perfect. Over the last several years, NeurAlbertaTech, or NAT for short, has been carving out what is now a sizable niche in the local innovation ecosystem. So this is our third annual natHACKS hackathon and our single biggest event to date. And we're incredibly excited to see what comes of it. Earlier this month, we had the honor of receiving this year's NeurAlbertaTech Award for community initiatives for our work in hosting natHACKS over the last 2 years. So you know you're in for a blast over the coming several days. Yeah. And can you, one more. All right. When NAT first started, it was a meager project team at the U of A, made of a handful of undergraduate students with a budget of one shoestring and around negative $200. And then only after 4 short years, it feels quite surreal to have grown to this scale with the support of so many students, such as yourselves, entrepreneurs in the community, and organizations across Alberta, Canada, and beyond. At NeurAlbertaTech, over the last several years, the organizers, the admin, we've together solidified a firm belief in a talent and community-driven approach to innovation, both in our neurotech space and also in the broader tech ecosystem. We view each hacker as a foundational unit that, when at scale, are connected in diverse and novel fashions.
Closer.
Oh, right. We view each hacker as a foundational unit that when connected at scale in diverse and novel fashions can yield emergent and truly innovative solutions. This behavior is not unlike the emergence of our full range of experiences that arise from the base units we all have, neurons and such. And my point being, when working together, we can objectively become more than the sum of our parts. So, what is natHACKS? The event that has brought you all here today, well, it's much like NAT, the broader organization. It resides at the intersection of neuroscience, Alberta, and technology. The inaugural hackathon in 2021 started as a typical hackathon with some BCI or brain-computer interfaces mixed in. And since then, we've opened the competition up to all other forms of neurotechnology, and we've this year emerged as the biggest hackathon in Alberta. And as well, we've introduced a problem provider division. In this division, next one. Nope, it's missing. Okay. In this division, we're more directly connecting hackers to experts in real-world problems, with the typical hackathon approach being coined the standard division. And now Carolina will take you through the nitty-gritties.
All right, so as I'm sure you all know, we've got a packed schedule for the next few days. You can stay up to date at any time with what's going on by checking either NAT Portal, your Hacker Survival Guide, or the printed posters around the venues. And then also in the Survival Guide and on NAT Portal, you'll find additional information about the rules. Now, let's go over the most relevant few, just in case. Firstly, you have until midnight tonight to form your teams, and they must consist of 5 to 6 members, half of which or more must reside in Alberta to be eligible for prizes. Only code developed during this hackathon window is eligible for judging. And finally, prize money is strictly to be used for the development of winning projects. Speaking of winning, we're fortunate enough to have the support of mentors from the innovation community available for hacker teams. We're going to have them coach you through certain business and technical aspects. They are available throughout the hackathon period, so hackers, please make sure to take advantage of this, as it's a great resource and very kindly provided by their volunteering their time. Now, once everything is said and done, submissions have 4 components. So firstly, you must have a public GitHub repo. Secondly, a project video up to 2 minutes long. Thirdly, a brief written summary of your work. And finally, a synchronous presentation to our wonderful judges. For more granular details on that, please check out your survival guide or find someone in a red shirt. And lastly, let's talk about health and wellness during the hackathon. At natHACKS, we strive to have a safe, clean, and comfortable environment for everyone. There's going to be a lot going on over the next few days, and we really want to highlight the importance of taking care of yourself. We strongly encourage you all to make sure you're taking lots of breaks, hydrating, also eating regularly, and getting plenty of sleep. At each of our 3 sites, meals will be provided, and we will be running leisure activities to facilitate breaks. Our team is dedicated to looking out for you, and if you are struggling at any point with your mental or physical health, please find a volunteer in a pink shirt or an organizer in a red shirt, and we'll be happy to connect you with additional supports.
On a final health note, please take at least 1 shower over the next several days. Next, it is my utmost pleasure to introduce to you this year's natHACKS co-presidents, Sahil and Cameron.
We're very prepared. So, thank you, Eden. Hello, I'm Cameron. I am the CTO at NAT.
And I'm Sahil. I'm the CLO at NAT, and we're the co-presidents this year at natHACKS.
We are super excited to see you all here. And first things first, we'd like to express our sincerest gratitude to the volunteers who have helped us along the way and everyone else who has made this event possible.
Just a big thank you to everyone on the organization team. This wouldn't have been possible without them. And a quick reminder for you all, we have volunteers, organizers, mentors, all around for almost just about always. So feel free to reach out to them for help if you need them. And yeah, with most of the information coming in from Eden and Carolina, all we have to say is good luck on your 64-hour hacking journey.
And remember to take the opportunity to make friends, learn, and most importantly, have a little bit of fun. If you have any questions, you can come find us running around in the red shirts, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Sahil and Cameron. Next, we will hear from a representative of Campus Alberta Neuroscience, or CAN for short, the single biggest supporter of natHACKS this year. Their support on many levels has been foundational to getting us where we are today. Dr. Neil Neary, who will be speaking on their behalf, recently joined CAN as their new executive director to support the development of Alberta as a hub of neuroscience excellence. His educational background is in psychology and public health, and he holds degrees from both Queen's University and the University of Alberta. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Neil Neary to the stage.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction, and good evening, everyone. I'm really thrilled to be here today as a representative of Campus Alberta Neuroscience, and we are very proud to be a sponsor of this year's natHACKS competition. It's an honor to be a part of an event that brings together the brightest minds from across our great province in the fields of neuroscience and technology. Campus Alberta Neuroscience is very proud of the role we play with our three major universities that have neuroscience programs, University of Lethbridge, University of Calgary, and of course, University of Alberta. And we are deeply committed to advancing research, innovation, and education in neuroscience across Alberta. We believe in the power of collaboration and the impact it can have on pushing the boundaries of what we know and what we can achieve, and natHACKS embodies that spirit completely, bringing together students, researchers, and professionals from diverse backgrounds to tackle challenges at the intersection of neuroscience and technology. In my opinion, this competition is not just about coding, and I'm getting that from the previous presenters, but also about creating or innovative solutions only. It's about the fusion of ideas, cross-pollination of knowledge, and the synergy that arises when brilliant minds come together. The projects that emerge from natHACKS have the potential to shape the future of neuroscience and make a real difference in real people's lives. So as a sponsor, we are not just here to support the event financially. We are here because we believe in the power of innovation to transform lives. We believe in the potential of each and every one of you to contribute to the cutting edge of neuroscience and technology to improve those people's lives. And we really commend you for your creativity, your passion, and your dedication. It's very inspiring, and I am proud to be here as part of it. So, in spite of the fact that there are trophies beside me and I've been asked to come back on Sunday to judge, remember that this is not only a competition, it is about collaboration, learning, and growing. So as the previous presenters have mentioned, I really do encourage you to cherish the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals, exchange ideas, and forge partnerships that could really shape the trajectory of your careers going forward. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the organizers, so NeurAlbertaTech, all of the volunteers and the participants who have made this possible. Your hard work and dedication have laid the foundation for an event that promises to not just be a competition, but a real opportunity for real collaboration and real growth for everyone involved. So let the hacking begin, whatever that is. I'm not going to pretend that I know. Concerning to hear from one of your judges, potentially. Together, I hope we can really make natHACKS a milestone for all of you on your journeys towards a bright and connected future in neuroscience and technology.
Thank you, Neil. Next, I am pleased to introduce Danny Moffat from Edmonton Regional Innovation Network. Danny is a strategic thinker with developed skills in research, policy analysis, behavior change communication, and design. She currently manages the Edmonton Regional Innovation Network and has played an integral part in driving this organization's commitment to building equity through improved access to funding. Please join us in welcoming Danny.
I am always an unwilling face of the Edmonton Regional Innovation Network. I like to defer this role to our co-chair, James Kierstead, who has pushed me up here to give the greetings on his behalf or the community's behalf. So we've been a flagship sponsor of natHACKS for, I think this is the second year. For 3 years, yeah. And we will continue to push funding in initiatives like these because we believe that supporting young minds like yours, setting you up for success, getting more businesses created from the ground up, getting you connected with other post-secondary institutions in these healthy situations are something that we are always looking to support. And I just want to tell you all, just have fun, relax, like life is short, and just hack away, bathe, as as Eden pointed out, and just overall, just have fun, right? It's just all about having fun, making your connections, that long-lasting friendships that you will continue to have when you're adults like me. All right, guys, have fun. Bye.
Thank you, Danny. Coming up next is Amber Porter from Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and the Northwest Territories. Amber is their Vice President, Programs and Partnerships, and Chief Services Officer. The Alzheimer's Society was our very first ever sponsor to pledge multi-year support for natHACKS, for which we are incredibly grateful. Amber?
I just thought, because I'm little, I thought I would stand up.
Hello?
See, it likes you. Okay, excellent. Thanks so much for inviting me this evening. The Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories is so pleased to once again be supporting the hackathon. Currently, there are over 60,000 people in Alberta with dementia diagnoses, and 61% of those people are female. Research is projecting that nearly 286% increase by 2030. That's almost tripling this number. So Alberta will have the largest increase in the country, with the cost to the healthcare system alone and the cost of lost productivity to industry measured in the billions of dollars. This means that participants here, you at the hackathon, in your lifetime will be affected by Alzheimer and dementia in some way. You may become a care partner to a loved one, support a colleague in a workplace that's experiencing dementia, you may work in healthcare, or it could happen to you. I want to tell a very quick story. Ron, an engineer and a manager in a medium-sized oil field business here in the greater Edmonton area, was diagnosed with young onset dementia. And that means he was before the age of 65. He was actually 57. Shirley and Ron, Shirley's Ron's spouse, she was 52 when the diagnosis happened, and that was 6 years ago. Ron is still alive, and when I met Shirley at the walk for Alzheimer's a couple of months ago, she was full of anger about having to choose whether to go back to work or not, as her benefits were running out. And she let me know that Ron only qualified for 2 hours of respite care through the system, which means that there would only be 2 hours a week covered if she went back to work. That's not enough. And she didn't have a care plan. While she attended our support groups and did other activities with our organization, we don't provide respite care. So she didn't have a plan to help him, and she didn't have a way to give him the services he needed. And her raw emotion was really very real. So you can just begin to imagine the impact of this diagnosis 6 years ago has had on their whole family and their careers. The Alzheimer's Society comes from a place of being person-centered. We approach our working with people living with dementia and their supports from that place. We offer free navigation through the many systems needed to manage the disease, and we do online and in-person support meetings, support groups, and education for professionals, amongst a lot of other things. We spent 11,000 hours supporting people in the last year, and we've had over 18,000 phone calls to clients living with or someone supporting someone with dementia. And by these numbers, we're only seeing about a quarter of the people with diagnoses. We would like to help everyone. I think you can help us get there, if you want to take that on. And our clients are desperate, quite literally desperate for a solution, like Shirley and Ron, ranging from improving their quality of life to supporting those care partners, to research that leads to improvements in treatments. And I'm asking you to turn our real world problems into solutions. That's part of the reason we got involved in natHACKS from the beginning. The Alzheimer's Society also invests in research through the Hope for Tomorrow research program. We're investing $5 million over the next 5 years into Alberta-based dementia-specific research in a variety of Alberta post-secondary institutions. Our first launch of that was actually in September. And our interest in supporting research and events like the hackathon is to introduce this next generation of big thinkers to the growing problem and the impact dementia has on our province. We believe, with your help, each person living with dementia and those supporting them can thrive as we focus on care for today and a cure for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Next, we welcome Griselda Sukmoro from Industry Sandbox and AI Computing, aka ISAIC, to share a few words. Griselda is the head of marketing and communication at Alberta Create Centre and ISAIC. Create empowers innovators to build new technologies, big, small, and intelligent, through open access resource facilities.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. I'm just going to test it out for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know how to. Sorry for that. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll just jump right in because I know I'm the fourth speaker and I'll be quick but relevant. So ISAIC is part of Alberta Create Centre. Create stands for Collaborative Resources Empowering Advanced Technology Experiences. That's a mouthful word, yes. But we empower innovators to build technology, future technologies, essentially small like nanotechnology, or even big like garage size or intelligent, so using AI ML. Now, there are 3 units which are NanoFab, so that's for the nanotechnology, and then Elko Garage, if you've seen them in the ETLC building, and also ISAIC. Now, I'm going to talk about ISAIC. ISAIC stands for Industry Sandbox and AI Computing. So we provide computational resources, GPU, CPU, virtual machines, to those who have AI projects. So that would be startups, SMEs, also instructors who have AI classes or hackathons like this one. Well, natHACKS, of course. But we focus mainly in Western Canada. Now, this is a diagram that kind of trying to show you how we work in the ecosystem. So there is Amy, if you see there, the logo, and Stephanie will talk more about Amy. And for Alta ML, they focus on turnkey solutions, for example, and Cybera focuses on the network, also data science talent programs. So ISAIC work together with all of the ecosystem partners, but we focus on the infrastructure and applied knowledge. And this one, again, I borrow the slide from Amy. So this one is just illustrating that for ISAIC, the best point to contact Isaac is when you are training the data. So you already collected your data, and then you want more computational resources, like more GPUs, for example, and then it's best to, not it's best, but it's good to talk to Isaac. Now, about our clients, there are a lot of clients that we have from health tech, agri-tech, and other industries. But the benefit that I wanted to mention is that we are secure because we're housed here at the University of Alberta. And also, other than that, we work with other community partners such as ERIN, Edmonton Regional Innovation Network, and also Health Innovation Hub, for example, if you ever seen them in the Enterprise Square. And of course, for the talent growth, we work together with hackathons such as Hackett and APIC and natHACKS, of course, and other courses, for example, from Concordia University, and we're just happy to be here. Now, for the last words, I want to give words of encouragement. It's not in the slide. So, I know 3 student entrepreneurs myself. So the first one is Connor Povoledo. He just got an award actually from STAC Award for Student Game Changers. Not only one, he built 2 startups. So that's pretty amazing. And that's a good example, I guess, so how far you can go. And then the second one is actually from a participant here at the natHACKS. It's the Sleep Apnea Guardian, if you've ever met them. That's from last year. So I was really happy to meet them, and their work is really good. And also they presented in the business school event, like with the alumni, with the venture capital, and also with the startup founders in the Honeycomb event. Now, talking about business school, the third example is from an MBA student from the business school, which is a construction tech startup. So that one is SketchDeck AI. Now, Daniel has a little bit of background engineering, but not so much in the technical. So for those who are not in the technical side of things, it's good that you are here. We welcome you as well, because innovation is for everyone, and you can make better things for the society, for the good. So have fun, and I hope you learn a lot of things, but good luck as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Griselda. And now we have a very special guest from the Alberta government. We have Minister Nate Glubish. Nate is a member of the Legislative Assembly for Strathcona-Sherwood Park and Minister of Technology and Innovation. Prior to his political career, Nate dedicated his professional life to building and investing in Alberta technology companies. He is passionate about helping Alberta companies raise investment capital to commercialize innovative new technologies and to then export their expertise around the world. Please join me in welcoming Minister Nate Glubish to the stage.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Nate Glubish, Minister of Tech and Innovation for the Government of Alberta, and I'm so excited to be here with you to kick off natHACKS for this year. As you heard, before I was in politics, I was a venture capital investor. So I've spent my entire career investing in and building tech companies. And what I can tell you is there has never been a better time to be in tech in Alberta than today, and we're just getting started. We have more tech companies in Alberta than ever before. They are growing faster than ever before. And they are raising more money than ever before. And how do I know this? Well, back in 2017, we only had $30 million invested into Alberta tech companies. Last year alone, we had $729 million of venture funding going into Alberta tech companies. That's exponential growth. And it's even more impressive because while Alberta was growing at those extraordinary rates, the rest of the country's venture capital investments were on the decline. So we are punching above our weights. We are outperforming the rest of the country. And that is in part due to some of the outstanding research happening at our post-secondary institutions, like the University of Alberta. And it is in part due to really exciting programs like hackathons, like natHACKS. So what you're doing here today, it matters. Yes, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a blast, and you guys are going to be here all weekend, and you're going to create some really cool things. You're going to meet a lot of great people. But it's bigger than that. What you are doing is helping to lay the groundwork for the next generation of innovation that will be happening here in Alberta. And I want to commend you all for it. I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. I want to say a big thank you to all the volunteers and organizers, because what you guys are doing here matters. And I also want to encourage you, as students who are pursuing your studies in a STEM-related discipline, stay with it, because your future in Alberta will be very bright. We have so many more jobs in tech than ever before, and that number is just continuing to grow. We have so many billion-dollar tech companies that we never used to have. So the fact is, look around you here today. Part of this event is not just about solving one problem in 64 hours. Part of this is networking, meeting people. You don't know who among you in this room might be the next leader of Alberta's next billion-dollar unicorn tech company, but they could very well be in this room. So take some time to get to know each other. Invest in building some relationships. You never know where those friendships and those contacts will lead you. And with that, I just want to say thanks for allowing me to come and just share a few words of encouragement. I hope you guys have a ton of fun. I hope you guys solve some real-world problems, and I look forward to seeing what the leading projects that come out of natHACKS this year are able to do. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Incredible insights and very motivating for our hackers. Thank you, Minister. As well, to build off of what Minister Nate Glubish was talking about, it's very exciting to see this kind of innovation and this kind of movement and growth in Alberta, and we hope that you will continue this movement and growth by joining some of our organizer team at the upcoming IoT North Conference happening next week, directly after natHACKS in Calgary. We'd love to extend the invitation to all hackers and any other guests to attend. As well, you can use the codes found here and on page 17 of our survival guide to access specially reserved tickets for natHACKS attendees, because we really want to encourage the continuation of development and the networking that we were just talking about. And then let us also take a moment to show our appreciation to all the sponsors who made this event happen. Your support fuels the fire of creativity and progress. natHACKS would not be possible without the many valuable collaborations that have been in the works for the last 12 months, and each of the organizations represented here today have played an important role in the success of the upcoming days. Tomorrow afternoon, we will also be joined at our main site in Edmonton by representatives from many of our partner organizations at our sponsor booth event. I look forward to seeing all of our Edmonton hackers come out and learn about our partners at 1 p.m. tomorrow in the sub-atrium. Several organizations in attendance are actively looking for talent, so be sure to take a short break and check it out. Now, for our keynote speaker, Stephanie Enders. Stephanie is a VP product at Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. For more than a decade, her professional practice has focused on bridging the gap between creators and audiences, tech products and customers, and letting the creativity and passion of builders shine at the center of marketing and communication efforts. In her role at Amy, she leads a fantastic team of professionals passionate about sharing scientific excellence and applied developments in AI. Please give a warm welcome to Stephanie Enders from Amy.
We'll try handheld. Can anyone hear me? We're just gonna wait. Well, hi everyone, I'm Stephanie. Keynote is quite generous, so I'm hoping to give you some inspirational messages once we get my mic on. Oh, perfect. That's better. Sorry, team. We'll walk over here. So I'm Steph, I'm the VP of Product over at AMI, which is the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. As I was saying, Keynote is probably quite generous. My goal tonight is just to share some really interesting trends and themes about AI that might help inform or inspire your work as you work on your projects this week. So with that, if you haven't heard of AMI, we're really born out of an incredible research legacy here at the University of Alberta, where the government of Alberta saw a huge potential for AI technologies over 20 years ago. And with that, we've been able to grow to one of the largest AI communities in North America, with leading researchers finding a home here and across Western Canada. So much like AI is now kind of falling out of everyone's mouths as a potential opportunity for technology applications in their business, I think neurotechnology has a rising, incredible community that you're part of that has the potential to be kind of the next AI in our communities. So why AMI? Again, we're one of 3 centers of excellence in the Pan-Canadian AI strategy. Fun fact, Canada was the first nation in the world that had a national AI strategy in 2017. So it's been since renewed, and that is a more than $568 million investment by the federal government to ensure that there's really clear pathways for research excellence, but also the commercialization of AI technologies across many domains. So what we do at AMI is we propel that leading edge research by funding chairs, fellows, and their graduate students across Western Canada. We accelerate AI commercialization through our work with companies, but also through our partnerships with organizations like natHACKS that help with great foundational seeding of how you can use technology to solve really important problems. We attract, retain, and develop world-class AI talent, and then also really focus on AI literacy. So we work with everyone from kindergarten kids all the way up to postdocs on improving their AI literacy skills. And last but not least, we really do provide a lot of research infrastructure for AI projects. I think some of the connections between the work that you're going to do this week and what we see in AI really is at the heart of our Chief Scientific Advisor, Dr. Rich Sutton, and how he thinks about AI technologies. He says, it's the desire to understand our world, the desire to make tools to make ourselves better. It's really totally human and a natural continuation of what humans are. And so echoing my friend at the Alzheimer's Society, I think that would be one of the greatest lessons from our work in AI is how do we keep it human-centered and anchor all of the solutions that you're building this weekend in making positive impacts on the people you're serving. And sometimes that has a direct-to-patient impact, and sometimes that's really optimizing a system to keep someone safer. The other thing I think that really translates between our organization and what's happening this weekend is something we call the virtuous circle. And so everything that we do is really focused on this translation of knowledge, talent, and technology into industry. And industry is just a big, broad word for anything that has to do with the impact of a customer, a client, a patient, a student. And then what is really special is when all of that transfer of knowledge, talent, and technology actually results in benefits that go back to helping researchers understand the applications of the technology that they're really advancing on a fundamental level. So I would encourage you, as you hack for many, many, many hours, is to think about what you're bringing to the table and how you're transferring that to a benefit or a solution to your end user, whether that's the knowledge transfer, the technology transfer, which is probably what you're most focused on, but also what you're bringing as individuals. You're the talent, and your lived experience and how you think about the world is as valuable as the code you'll write this week. Some fun little facts is we've grown quite rapidly. It echoes the growth of natHACKS. So in 2002, we started with 4 primary researchers, all who are still with us at the University of Alberta, advancing fundamental research in ML and AI. And with the renewal of the Pan-Canadian strategy, we continue to grow this research base. And earlier this year, here at the University of Alberta, we announced a partnership to recruit 20 more researchers advancing the field of AI, but across domains. So I know many of you are starting your undergraduate careers. We probably have some graduate and PhD students. There's a home for advancements in AI across faculties at AMI, and places like natHACKS is a great place to see where you might want to take that research in the future. Lots of people were surprised when Alberta was named as part of the Pan-Canadian AI strategy alongside our sister institutes, Vector in Toronto and Mila in Montreal. And a lot of that has to do with the broad range of research that we can do here in Western Canada, but we're anchored in reinforcement learning. Like Griselda mentioned before, we do aim to move companies, projects, and even student projects along the AI adoption spectrum. So when you're thinking about what product or project you might be focused on this weekend, sometimes it's easy to get bogged down in the idea of implementing or operationalizing your product or idea. And I would really encourage you to spend time and anchor your practice in things like exploring and initiating, especially when you're on a tight timeline like 64 hours. You want to get like right down to business. And I think there's lots of time to explore and ideate before you commit to that kind of piece that you imagine that end user having. And we really do see this adoption by industry growing exceptionally rapidly, including a big goal of us to work with more than 250 companies annually. You'll see later in the presentation, we interact with many, many companies, but the idea of implementing AI at a commercial scale is quite challenging, and so we're here to help every step of the way. So now the fun stuff, that's all about Amy. We did a bit of a year in review, and I think there's 12 trends in AI that might be something you want to consider as you dive into your projects this weekend. And the first is ChatGPT. So when ChatGPT was announced kind of in the public domain last November, it really changed the kind of dialogue around the technology that we focus on at Amy. And so when you're looking at any kind of generative AI, LLM for your projects this weekend, I'd like to share some like words of advice and guidance in case there's not rules in the handbook around kind of terms of reference with generative AI. If you're using it specifically for what you might consider the softer side of your application, like the writing summary or your video scripts, remember it's a tool for you to use, and it should never be the end point of your output. So use it to edit, not editorialize, brainstorm, not decide. Really think of it as something to aid you and not the final voice in your process. Especially it might be really easy when you're getting to that crunch time, kind of hour 60, and you still have to do maybe the softer side of your pitch. The next trend we saw was a massive uptake in ethical AI or responsible AI or principled AI practices. And so I would encourage you as you're thinking of your projects to think about what I like to kind of house under an ESG framework, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. So you might have a really awesome idea, you think that you're making all the right choices for your end user or the human at the center of your project, but something like the UN Sustainable Development Goals for 2030 is a nice gut check on, are you looking at all the lenses of the people that might be impacted by the solution you're creating? What messages or narratives are you omitting from your project? What might you do to protect someone's personal safety or the privacy of their data? So again, it's another check on your intentions to support someone might be very, very good, but to still do some rigor and some self-reflection on if you're doing everything possible to make sure that you're approaching that problem from their perspective and their lived experience. The next trend we're really seeing is this uptake in AI literacy, and what that might mean for you is maybe not assuming there's an AI or ML approach, but knowing when it might be appropriate, and even better, not appropriate to use ML for your solution. So if you're interested as a student moving forward in increasing your AI literacy skills, we announced a huge initiative with the University of Alberta earlier this year. First intake is in January for an AI Everywhere course. It's an undergraduate course available to all students at the University of Alberta as an elective that helps really with the fundamentals of this technology, its impacts on society, and practical use cases, and it's led by two of our leading CFAR Canada AI chairs, Alana Fish and Adam White. Up next is in-demand talent. So we saw a massive increase in the number of students supervised by our fellows this past year, and it's really about what is possible for this generation of students as you're thinking about yourself as creators, inventors, and hopefully potential employees for amazing companies in Alberta. There's not one way to be a great technologist, and adding some AI skills to your toolkit is a great way to move ahead in any field that you're interested in. So as you're going through this weekend, I would highly encourage you to think of how are you going to explain the product, the pitch, the opportunity you built this weekend as a way to showcase your skills to a future employer or even startup founder. So sometimes it's easy to kind of package these away as a quick weekend project to meet new people, but it's also a place where you're learning incredible skills that employers around the world are hungry for, and I would encourage you to not shy away from really documenting what skills you developed over this weekend. Up next is inclusive AI. And so in the world of AI and ML, there's like super common saying like garbage in is garbage out. And often garbage in for us in ML is really like unusable or unrepresentative data about different processes or different groups of people. So again, as you're thinking about the product, service, solution that you're building over this weekend, really think about, is the data that you're collecting representative of the people you're trying to serve, and what have you done in your power to remove bias, and or what can you proactively do to encourage fairness or equity in your data sets so that you're making sure you're not making any unintended consequences for future predictions. Also, one of the best ways to ensure that we have inclusive tech products in the market is to ensure that we have a huge diversity on the teams that we're building. So I think you have until midnight to build your team. If you're sitting on a team and everyone at the table is just like you, it might be a good reason to stand up and go to the snack table and interact with some other folks so that you're not having just a single homogeneous perspective as you dive into your projects. I know that Nate, our Minister Glubish, spoke deeply about venture capital, and sometimes that step from hackathon to startup can feel really overwhelming. Startup creation is a great opportunity to explore as a student, and there's incredible supports across Edmonton and in our kind of partner academic institutions. I'm sure there's great supports for you there too. There's no better time to start trying on foundation work in a company than when you're a student. You have a great group of people who want to support you in those efforts, and don't be afraid to take that next step. Even if your project doesn't win this weekend or doesn't place, it doesn't mean there isn't an opportunity for you to explore what it is to start a company. At Amy last year, we supported 91 startups that are in the AI-enabled space and launched our first AI pitch book specifically to help them receive venture funding. Next is industry adoption. So one of the great opportunities that you have coming out of a hackathon like this is to think of other places that might be able to use your solution or that would be interested in how you thought about that. So there's a great accelerator program with Edmonton Unlimited with Plug and Play, where their whole concept is to connect emerging startups with first customers at multinational companies so that you can prove out the validity of your project beyond a kind of beta test. And then engaged community. I know it's a broken record. You've heard from many of the speakers that technology is just one part of the piece of the puzzle for hackathons. I think a really important part of what you're doing is to build that community. So if you can work diligently on your products, but also find people to connect with, to have conversations outside of the specifics of what you're building. Those are the folks that you're going to run into over and over and over again as you build your careers. And it's hard to get through your academic career, and it's also challenging to manage the growth of your professional career once you're in industry. And often the folks that you meet at hackathons, at meetups, if you're in Edmonton, to things like demo camp, it's a chance for you to build that community that's going to travel with you and grow with you throughout your career. And then social good. So I think many of the projects here, there's opportunities for you to improve someone's life. There's opportunities to explore recreation. And social good is a big part of what we do at Amy. So our mission is AI for good and for all. Little bit of boiling the ocean there. But what that means to me is that we're really aligned ourselves with people that see the positive impact of their technology. And for us, it meant that we worked on 43 projects that were specifically aimed at social good using technology that we're experts at, which is AI. And this one should be of no surprise, rapid innovation. So 64 hours, it's a lot of time to work hard. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, but it's good to get into the practice of rapid innovation and not to kind of get too sticky to something that might not work. So there's a lot of startup tropes about like, don't fall in love with your ugly baby. Has anyone heard that before? So out of context, it's a little jarring. But at the start of the hackathon, you might think that you have this most amazing idea, and everyone on the team is going to be so excited about it, and like 42 hours in, you might ask someone, like, is this a good idea? They're likely going to tell you it is, because they don't want to hurt your feelings, because it's really easy to fall in love with your ugly baby. And so rapid innovation is a good chance for you to practice. So this is much an exercise of seeing what you can build quickly to make sure it has purpose and impact, but also it's a good chance to practice failing, trying things on, not quite working, and also letting something go if it wasn't a good idea. And next up, almost to end, is AI education. And so I would encourage you all, as you're working on your projects, is if this weekend isn't the weekend to integrate ML or AI into your project, there could be a future opportunity, and at Amy, we're always here to help. So we have a ton of programs for undergraduate, graduate students to help integrate you into a broader AI community. And last but not least, it doesn't have to be super serious all the time. Earlier this year, Amy actually sponsored Rock Album of the Year at the Junos, and it was a chance for us to actually really demonstrate incredible innovation happening in the Blink Lab here at the University of Alberta with AI-assisted prosthetic limbs and how they could be used by musicians who are experiencing limb difference. But it was also just a chance to spark conversation with super creative people about the possibilities of technology in new ways. And so hopefully this weekend you'll find a great sense of creativity in the purpose of your projects and not just impact. So that's the quick summary of the 12 kind of trends we're seeing at Amy and how I think they might apply to your work this weekend. I know that you're really itching to go and all of the fun times are ahead of you. And so I know that Amy made a lot of impact last year, and I'm really excited to see what kind of impact you're gonna make this year. So if you need to find me ever, I'm super easy to find. I'm Steph at Amy. We have live chat at the Amy website. Pop on, ask questions anytime, and the team is happy to answer them. And then if there's ever a need for workshops or support in your community groups, our talent team would be happy to have you. So great hacking, everyone. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. That was quite the riveting keynote. Lots of interconnections to what's going to be happening in this space over the next 64 hours. And that will be starting in just a few minutes. Before we kick off, let's just go over some final tips and tricks to close out the ceremony. All right, so we have a few items to highlight. The first being NAT Portal. So we've put together a website, authentication based. If you can't access it, if you haven't accessed it yet, talk to someone in a red shirt. The nerds at the back of the room in the red shirts are probably the ones to help you get authenticated. Yeah, extensive documentation there. And that's what it looks like. So links to that also in Discord on Important Links channel. And then we also have networking. So we encourage you to talk to strangers. Don't normally hear that, usually hear the opposite. But yeah, I'd say about half the value you can get out of this weekend is in the connections to other people that you can make. So very much encouraged. I'd go as far as to encourage people to set aside a few hours throughout the 64 to network. And conveniently, our sponsor booth event tomorrow at 1 p.m. Is 3 hours long. So come and grab some fancy hors d'oeuvres through that. As Carolina mentioned, sleeping and eating is generally a good thing and will support you succeeding in the hackathon. Yeah. As well as mentors, you can reach out to them on Discord. They'll also be walking around with special lanyards and name tags. As well, remember to give your project your all, but recognize we aren't expecting completely market-ready products at the end of the hackathon. We would much rather you focus on creating a fully fleshed out and functional prototype, rather than focusing on one particular aspect. And then lastly, planning. So extensively researching your problem. If you're referencing the starter problems document, go beyond that, the description that's available there, and really map out the problem you're trying to solve before haphazardly kind of cramming BCI into it or some neurotech that you haven't researched independently. Yeah. And then some final notes. We have BCI equipment available at in-person sites. We asked if you're getting the more expensive things that cost like $1,000 that you sign a contract and a deposit. And then we also have a variety of peripheral equipment in the Edmonton location. It's just back there, some of which can be accessed without a deposit. And just a final reminder, we'll make an announcement for it later today, but teams should be registered before midnight. Okay, that one is slightly off. 5 to 6 members, and we ask that you stay within that range. So not 4 and not 7. Otherwise, judging will be quite challenging. And then once your team has been formed and you've submitted your form on NatPortal, at all the in-person sites, you can go grab your team a survival guide. So that's just a very condensed, one-stop printed document. And then safety points. We have several organizers trained in first aid, and then we have muster points. I believe if you go out down the stairs and directly past the bookstore outside. So that's a muster point rallying in case there's some sort of emergency in the building. And then generally put the call out for a zero harassment policy. Be nice, don't be a jerk. All right, and that is all. You may begin your hacking.